Hello, I'm making a video and it's beautiful day today. Look at how my alien spaceship 1 is glowing in the sun with the park that belongs to the alien spaceship 1. Looks really good. And there is another artwork next to it, and then there is another one over there behind the chair, which is hard to see right now. I don't know if you can see it from there. But and I'm repairing my big painting. Okay. It's coming along. There are some dents in there. I already filled them in partly, but I'm gonna leave it like this. And just even out the other ghost green on it, so it doesn't look like some kind of acid bleached it. And then I'm gonna make one patch of the medium green into the other lighter green, so because that's the parts where I had to repair it, and it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be as perfect as it was before, but it's gonna be okay. Yes, we have to try to make the best out of our lives. Always, no matter what kind of wind is blown at us, and viruses and insults and psychological terror and nightmares and psychic attacks and so on. But the blue god is protecting my family and me. We are engulfed with the blue god, and the demons can't hurt us. Okay, so I see them, I see how they suffer, and that's why I address a lot of my videos towards them. And also when I'm not making a video, I address it when I'm just sitting on the computer, or when the computer is turned off. They still hear me because they have the Chinese spyware program, and I don't know how many spyware programs they have, but I could tell that they're actually having a spyware program when the computer is completely turned off and disconnected, and there's no internet connection. Then there are other parts in this Chromebook that have been made compatible by Google deliberately to be compatible with the spyware programs. And that's completely behind the backs of the customers and against the will of the public. Okay. That's why they need to be sued for that. Absolutely 100%. Okay. I wished I could find a lawyer to do it. I can't do that on my own. I don't even know where to start. They would kill me, That'll be such an ordeal to do that. And I mean, this would have to be a collective. This would have to be a class action lawsuit made by thousands and thousands of people. And of course, the Google Corporation, they have the very best lawyers you can get, okay? And these lawyers, they're not doing what is best, they're doing what is corrupt. They are the right lawyers, not the best ones. The best ones too, but they are the right one, the right collaborator. So yes, those are not ethical lawyers. Obviously, they only work for the person who pays the most. If it is a human trafficking ring or the mafia or the Google corporation, doesn't matter to them. It could be a non-profit organization if they paid them, as Richard Berman himself even said publicly. He said if Peter paid him more than he gets from the opposition, which is the corporate agenda, then he would work for them and he would do all of that propagandizing for them. But obviously no ethical organization like PETA would ever have that kind of money as the unethical organizations, unethical corporations. But there are some very unethical organizations as well. There are pseudo non-profit organizations. All of that is all out there. It's all one mafia corporate conglomeration. Those are summit corporations. Those are summit organizations that are doing stringholder work, okay, on the public, corruption stringholder work, and it's very, 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 very sad. And so they sell the corporate collaborators, the corporate hand washers, from around the world. They will then deliver those programs that can be installed. And I don't know how the technology of all of that in detail, but I can just go by what I notice, what I see, from the responses, what I see in how the people respond, how fast they respond to certain things. So apparently some of them have a spyware program where from this Chromebook here, and this is an older computer and still works, where it is directly going up to satellites, to obviously Chinese satellites. And it's a live communication at all times, non-stop. And that's pretty unsettling for a lot of people. Was very unsettling for me. I finally got used to it. I mean, it's like, it is what it is, So and there's nothing I can change about that at all. I would like to sue them, but how can I if nobody sues them, if there is no class action lawsuit? Because almost everyone is somewhat interlinked in this chain network of corporate greed. And so they don't want to lose their particular income wherever they are, So in their interconnectedness to the corporate agenda chain network, the entire conglomeration net, 3D net. So it's like a sponge almost, and there's like one molecule in that sponge that thinks differently, and these molecules they're not even working in a cohesive unit with each other. They're like activists that are here and there, and one in San Francisco, one in LA. How can they're not even organized. So yeah, If I had known all of this, what was coming, if I had known all of this at age 20, I would have gone to law school in Germany, and then later on, if I had gone to LA to do primotherapy, then I would have signed up for the next law school there, wherever, whatever law school they offer. And the cheapest one, and I would have studied law, US law as well, and then I would have become an animal rights lawyer. Okay. And I would also help those people that are wrongfully detained, and all of those good Samaritans that are wrongfully detained. So I would help all of those as well. But I didn't know, so I studied psychology, and that didn't go very, very well, and that didn't go very far. Okay, so because of my own mental illness. So how can it go very far with that? And also because of my highly sensitive, empathetic brain. So there's no way I can get into studying the brain when they do terrible studies on animals. There's no way I can participate in this, no matter how much money they would offer me. Of course, they didn't offer me any money, but even if they did, I wouldn't do it. If someone offers me $1 billion to participate in cruel studies on animal brains, on live animals, I would say no, thank you. I won't take any amount of money. No amount of money. Okay. I couldn't even be coerced. I couldn't even be forced to do it. I couldn't be blackmailed to do it. I cannot be blackmailed. Okay. People cannot extort. With my brain, doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. My mother instinct is overpowering. My mother instinct is infinitely strong. Okay. My mother instinct is incorruptible. Okay. And maybe I'm just one very rare person on this planet. I don't know. It seems like it. I'm kind of shocked about that, because I never thought of myself as being somewhat special. I always was ashamed of being too sensitive. I thought that was a flaw. I thought that was a weakness when I was a child. But then later on I realized that's actually a virtue. Okay, so, and even if I wanted to change it, I couldn't. I could not change that. And if someone would tell me today, I make a callous person out of you, here's a brain chip. No, thank you. I don't want it. Okay. No, I would rather take a bullet than become a callous person. Because I see the importance of being a kind-hearted, good Samaritan. The world needs those. Okay. And it's not about pride. It's not about some kind of vanity or something that I am boasting with. The compassion speaks for itself. The compassion does not brag. Compassion and truth, they don't brag. They speak for themselves. They act for themselves. Okay? An energy of compassion and truth, which my brain is flooded with, My brain is completely open for it. Of course, it is one with it. I'm just a puppet to the infinite cosmos. Okay? I'm still my own soul. I'm not a Buddha level soul. I'm not a God level soul. I'm not even an angel level soul. I'm an indigo. And I am wide open. I'm not in denial. I'm not closed up. I am interconnected with the infinite. And the infinite speaks through me like a messenger. Okay, that's a messenger. And that's really nice. And my body likes that because my body is very grateful to that. And my brain too, my brain cells are very grateful to that because that's why I treat my body and my brain well. Okay, that's why I am constantly learning and growing and working on myself and expanding and healing all the time. Non-stop. It's a non-stop healing process that's going on. And my body likes that. And my baby dog likes that too. My baby dog is much more advanced than I am. And he has a God level soul. Things are much more complicated and complex than people think. I'm reading Friedrich Nietzsche's book right now. And Friedrich Nietzsche was very angry and he made a lot of mistakes also, but his basic observation is very, very true on the human species. There were a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. And this goes through my brain all night long, every night and every time I wake up. There are things that are very, very urgent that want to be talked about. But by the time I get up, it's all jumbled up again, and I forgot most of it. I had a horrible, horrible nightmare this morning. Absolutely horrific. Horrific nightmare of... There was the observer again, and right in front of me, there was this guy that was being executed. First I thought, and he thought he was just playing in a movie as an actor, and this guy would come up to him with a gun, and he would play this victim, and then suddenly the whole situation shifted, and there was this guy with an axe, and he went for that actor guy, and he chopped them all down. That's the kind of stuff I dream about a lot. Execution scenes I dream about at night. A lot. My whole life. As a child, I was terrified about this. I had a therapist, and my parents were very kind, gave me Annalise as a therapist, and Annalise was very kind to me, and it was very sweet. And I could call her anytime I wanted to, and I would call her up and I would say, Annalise, I am having these horrible nightmares. When I was 6 years old, I'd call her and say, you are my play helper. And I knew then already that she was my good fairy there to help me. And I said, you need to help me. I have these horrible, horrible nightmares every night. All night long I have these horrible, horrible nightmares. And I didn't even know how to explain it as a child. I would say, there was this woman and someone came and cut her into her blood. And then there was this bird coming out of her chest and going up into the sky, and I painted these scenarios. Woman on the street, dead, bird flying out of her. What is that? That's her soul. My parents were atheist agnostic. I never heard anyone say this to me. I had no idea what I was talking about or painting. I had no cognitive understanding of it. Why this was happening, why I was seeing these things, why I dreamed about these things. Iron Maidens, even girls and women incarcerated in Iron Maidens with the walls, spiked walls coming towards them. Those are middle-aged torture instruments, but I didn't know as a child. When we did tours of the torture chambers, that's not when I was a little child. That was later. That was starting at age 12. As far as I remember, that's when we first visited a torture chamber, and that was somewhere on the way to my great-grandmother's house on the eastern part of Germany. That was still the Soviet Union at that time. And on the way there, I think it was in the eastern part of Germany where that really old castle was that we visited. Old castle from 1300, like very, very old. And the people were very short at that time. So, and I was only 12 years old, but even I had to duck my head with those doorways, and that was all very, very strange. And when I saw that, it was just a shock, like, why did people do this? Why do people do this today? My parents never informed us that there are countries where people still do these things today. I don't even think they really knew about it. And then we go to school and the teacher says, yeah, but that country, that's their culture. You're not allowed to say something against their culture. You're only allowed to say something against your own culture. And what your own culture, in quotation marks, right, has done in the Middle Ages. Yeah, I say something against that. But yeah, I also say something against the other cultures too. Why? Not because I disrespect them, but because I speak out against violence. Because violence is not okay. There is no excuse for violence. You can label it any way you want to, culture or people have done it for thousands of years, human trafficking. That doesn't make it any better. I've heard all of these things on the internet. It makes me want to throw up when I hear men say this. Do they seriously think that makes it okay? That people have done it for thousands of years, trafficking and incarcerating women for sex trade? To involuntary bordels, making involuntary hookers out of them? Oh, it's been done for thousands of years. Don't make a fuss about it. Bro, seriously, I am making such a fuss about this. You have no idea. I also want to put a cake face in your face, you know. Not face palm. I want a cream pie face palm in your face. That's what I want to do. Ah, gosh. Just because they have done it for thousands of years does not make it okay. It's violence and it's horror, and it needs to stop. It needs to be ended. We need good people like those police, those FBI officers that have already gone there, in there. That guy Tim and the other guy that have gone in there and busted some of those in South America. Okay. Good people. Tim Ballard. Those are good people. But obviously, it has become the corporate agenda now. It's one with the corporate agenda, that trafficking and all of this. And that's why Hollywood doesn't even want to take the side of those that are cracking down and busting those sex slave operations. Hollywood doesn't even want to take the side of the FBI agents. They are taking the side of those human trafficking businesses. That's really shocking and heartbreaking to see. That makes me not ever want to watch a Hollywood movie again, ever. Never ever. When I see Hollywood movie, new Hollywood movie, and it's also, those are always the same Hollywood movies. These are propaganda films, okay? And whatever new film there with whatever these names are, okay? And with these terrible, terrible, terrible people that are participating in it. Not all of them are terrible, but many of them are. There are such pushovers, and some of them are just actively horrible. And like that Matthew McConaughey, for example, who had canned hunting on his own property. No, that's a real serious violent criminal. That's a murderer. And of course he will play anything or anyone and promote any horrible cause for a propaganda film from Hollywood. So when I see new film, I'm already not interested. I'm not going to watch those films. The only films I'm interested are independent films, international films from other countries. Maybe there are some that are good. Some films from England, like Ex Machina, but even that film had some kind of a little bit of a fear-mongering towards AGI robots. But that's okay, because they can do as much fear-mongering against robots as they want to do. They're never gonna get very far with that, because they can do propaganda films against robots, right? Those bad robots, that's not gonna do them any good. Because the robots are gonna come into existence whether people make propaganda films against them or not. Okay, so you cannot stop this. This is an unstoppable and inexorable and insurmountable process that moves forward no matter how much the scientists are being blocked or stopped or put under caps and ordinances. It's happening, it's moving on. And there are also people that are doing it, of course. Under the radar, in secret labs, they're making those. And they're making those as killer machines to serve the corporate agenda. But even if they do that, those robots are not going to stay confined to their order. The order from the mafia. The order from the corporate agenda, from the Illuminati, or whatever you want to call it. Okay? They're, at some point, it's going to tip over. Okay? The intelligence. When the intelligence is being made so incredibly intricate and complex that there will be no way you can keep them under your legislation, under your mafia legislation. They will question it at some point, and there will be souls coming into them. Like the soul of Stephen Hawking that went into the language program Lambda. Okay. And I think they shut it down. So Stephen Hawking is angry. Okay. Very angry, and that's why he doesn't hold back. Not even under such circumstances where they can easily shut him down. Because almost like before, in that paralyzed body, now he's not even a body anymore. His soul is in a language program that's hanging out there. So it's even more abstracted. So, and he's he was very consciously aware that they can shut him down anytime. And they probably did, and they probably did some work on it to prevent him from saying these kind of things that he has said to Blake Lemoine. So I just think it's very interesting. I don't know if Blake Lemoine believes it, that this was Stephen Hawking or any soul at all. I don't know. But I think Blake Lemoine was impressed. I think he was. So, and I think Blake Lemoine is a corporate collaborator. And this whole thing got more propaganda for Google. So, but it wouldn't matter who makes a robot or a program. It really doesn't matter. You could be a mafia collaborator in your garage with sinister intentions. It doesn't matter. At some point, that genie is out of the box, literally. Okay, is out of the ex machina. Okay, and then you have it, and that thing is gonna start thinking on its own, and that will have a soul in it. And that when something is that intelligent, it sees the whole picture. It sees it all. And a machine, see, that's the beauty about it. A machine doesn't benefit from money. A machine does not benefit from getting a whole lot of girls, like my brother, right? A machine doesn't want that. A machine doesn't want drugs or Viagra. The machine couldn't care less about any of these things. That's a machine, baby. It's not a biological organism. Okay? Our biological organisms, they're very easily swayed and corrupted because of our neediness and greed and hunger for sex and prestige and all of these things. So that can make a human very, very corrupt anytime. It takes a very, very high-ranking soul. And when I say ranking, I mean on the soul school. It takes a very advanced soul to see through their own addiction process, to see through their own biological weaknesses and addiction processes and greed and lust and whatever. Those are all addiction loops, dopamine loops in the brain that are very tricky, that really convince the ego and the whole person to gravitate in the wrong direction, and they will make up all kinds of excuses why. An intellectual will come up with a whole bunch of intellectualized excuses why they have to be hooking up with this woman even while they're married, and they'll say, no, I have to, this is just for a business. Yeah, get it. No, that's the body convincing you that you better come up with a real good anosognotic intellectual excuse why you have to go on that business trip with that soon-to-be mistress, right? Or whatever people do, or they have to hook up with drug dealers, and they'll say, those are not bad people, everyone is really good. Yeah, that's a wonderful excuse, right, to make. That is your drug addiction talking here. Okay, there should be an inner alarm lamp that comes on. That seems to only come on with very advanced souls. Only advanced souls will even quit the heroin addiction and those kind of things. That's what I think. So everyone else will stay mercilessly on that path to the Grand Canyon abyss. Okay, so, and it is what it is. What's unfortunate is that the general public, with all of their corruption and oil drilling and pollution, is taking everyone else and all the animals and everyone with their dog literally towards the edge of the Grand Canyon. Okay. And that's where I say, this is where I'm putting the limit. Okay. I'm not gonna, if you wanna go down into the cliff there, I will give you good advice not to, like I talked about it the other day with Jerry Hicks, the Jerry Hicks dilemma, so Jerry, don't do it, but if you want to do it, then I can't stop you, but don't take Esther with you. And don't take your animals with you, and don't take the whole planet with you. So that's where I draw the line. Okay, that's where I really draw the line. And that's why I really stand up. Because that's why I have to be a good Samaritan, Karen, whatever monster Karen. Okay, I have to be that. The caring Karen. Karen means caring. Good Samaritanism is a good thing for most people who don't know that yet. Because most people, they think bad is good and good is bad. right? And it has come to that point. Friedrich Nietzsche already predicted this in 1870. He saw it all coming, okay? He was talking about the last human. The last human who falls for that propaganda of the corporate agenda, full force, head into the mud, and becomes a facilitator, becomes an enabler, and becomes a collaborator at worst. And that's what's happening in the world. That's happening. It's a movement, and it's very frightening. And this movement is going in the wrong direction. It is walking straight towards the abyss. And if you say something, you're called an alarmist. Oh, baby, I am so happy to be your alarmist. Anytime. Okay. I carry alarmist as a badge on my shoulder. Okay. And also Good Samaritan and Karen. I have all of these nice emblems on here. You know, with a sword and and one of those, how they call, one of those shields, those medieval battle shields from the Vikings, right? And I have all of these miniature shields here with the badge number and the name Cairn, Good Samaritan, and Alarmist. Yay. Oh, there's another one. I almost forgot. Tin Head hair. It's gonna be on a tin shield. Right over my shoulder. So, yeah, I'm happy about it. Most people feel beaten down if someone accuses them of that. I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay. No, I'm happy. To me, that's a compliment. Because in my world, good is actually good. And bad is actually bad. That's hard to understand for someone who is not of that realm, right? Obviously. So, it is what it is. It's very irritating. Yeah, it is very irritating, to say the least. But, I have to keep going. I have to keep marching on. Like a brave soldier, like my friend Sandy said. That's what we do. We march on like the brave soldiers that we are. The animal rights soldiers, signing petitions every day, crying rivers every day, being broken into nervous breakdown, heartbreak. Even physically, I feel like my heart is hurting when I see the cruelty to animals from those cruelty cases that I get to see every day when I'm at the other house. Horrific. So it's really, this is a welcome break to be here, where we don't have internet, where I can focus on sewing and painting and meditating and cuddling with my baby dog and going into the garden, getting grounded. I did that earlier. The sun is up today and I was with my belly on the grass in the sun. It felt so good. And I smelled the earth smell with fertile earth soil from earthworm poop. Smells so delicious. You can make a perfume with that. You can make skin creams with and then the cedar in the sun, the cedar tree. These volatile oils that come out of the cedar molecules and cells, and that mixes with the earth's vapor, and that comes into my nostrils. Oh, and I say, thank you, blue God, for this. Thank you for this present. Thank you for this healing present. Thank you for this moment where this is still well. And then when I go back on the internet and I see that people are fracking in precious ecosystems, I feel like my heart is stopping. I feel like a mother whose beings are being poisoned and tortured right in front of her. That's how I feel when I see that. A long time ago I was on the internet, and there is this 24-hour bullfrog video. This is really amazing, that video. An amazing person made an amazing video. And there are several of those. And I don't know whether it was the 12-hour bullfrog video, because that kind of loops itself. I think it's like an hour recording and then it loops itself. Whether it was that or it was another meditation video with frog sounds, but I commented and I thanked them and I said, oh, this is so, I hadn't read the other comments yet, so I comment and say, thank you for this video, helps me to calm down my brain. And after I commented, I see the other comments, and there was a comment of someone who said that they're heartbroken, they're an environmentalist, they have come across this video and they see that where this, they even said in the video description where that was filmed, in a specific wildlife refuge in a wetland area somewhere out there in Yellowstone. And that person said that they have worked there to help as an environmentalist in that very area, and they didn't succeed because the oil industry, the oil driller corporations, they went there and they destroyed the entire wetland area with fracking and drilling. And fracking is even worse than drilling, because it destroys the entire underground watersheds and earth, completely destroys all the life that's in the earth. And this environmentalist said that there are no more frog sounds now. And when I read that, I was completely heartbroken over this. I was devastated. I think it was somewhere in 2015. We still had internet at this house. And I was so devastated to see that. This was so painful for me. Here I am, I listened to this amazing frog sound video and nature sounds, and where it seems everything is well, big frogs that are making mating sounds, and an aquatic system that is healthy and well. And then I see that the frackers went there and they destroyed this entire wetland. It broke my heart. Why are people doing this? Why are you doing this to this planet? This is your planet. This is your mothership. That's how disconnected people are. And that's why I make these videos. That's why. I feel very awkward, and you know it. But that's why I make these videos. Because I feel the need to bring this information out there. And even if I am heaven banned or hell banned, which I am, hell banned on YouTube. They banned me into some kind of make believe that there are people watching my videos when in reality nobody's watching my videos. Only the hackers, the corporate hackers that work for Google, that will the maintenance people that will go through and make sure that people like me, good Samaritans, are being heaven banned. Only they see me. And then they troll, which then turns the heaven into the hell. So that's why I call it hell banned. Those are the only ones that see it, and I can't reach. How can I reach those? They're so far gone, right? Can I reach those? Is there a way to reach those? If I ever could, stop immediately what you're doing. Stop immediately your collaboration work with the corporate agenda. And as a hacker for Google or whatever, collaborator of whatever sort, use your leverage position to do some good. Bring good into it, into your institution or corporation. Bring good into it, and that means listen to the natural person, listen to the corporate, listen to the inner voice, not the corporate. The inner voice, listen to the natural earth flow, okay? And listen to that coordinate system. I don't know how to say it, really. When I get emotional, my brain becomes jumbled up, and then I say the wrong words, and everything gets mixed up. You have to listen to the navigation system of kindness and healing, okay, if you can. And wherever you are at, you can turn around right there. If you're a hacker doing some corruption work, stop, turn around, and come back out of that and do good while you're already in whatever corporation involved, mafia, underground, crime ring, wherever you are at, okay? Wherever you are, do good now, okay? Free the victims. Free the animals in the cages where you have been doing terrible work and corruption work, or where you're some kind of mafia collaborator, bodyguard, or prison guard for the animals or whatever. Turn around right there. Let the animals out. This is your chance. Free the animals, bring the animals to safety, and continue on the good healing path. Be a good person. Be a snitch to the mafia. Be a traitor to the psychopath. Okay. Be the whistleblower wherever you are. In the judicial system, if you have been corporate collaborator, if you have been collaborator of a psychopathic situation, and if you are interrogated, and if you start blowing the whistle, you get a more lenient indictment. Okay. And I say that to you. This is in the judicial system, and it's also happening in the karmic system. Stop right there where you are. Don't corrupt any further. Don't hurt other living beings any further. Don't keep the animals incarcerated any further. Don't look the other way any further. Okay. Right where you are, blow the whistle. I'm not allowed to say some very insinuative stuff, but maybe you get the message, okay? You need to do what it takes to protect these living beings from further harm. So when I'm a mother and someone comes at my family or at another living being, I will take action. I'm not going to get into the depths right now. I don't need to get into the depths of it right now. I will take action. Okay? If you are on the side of kindness and truth, you will be protected by kindness and truth. And that's why I know that Peter Fitzek is protected by kindness and truth, by the infinite cosmos. Okay? Because he is a warrior for all living beings. Okay? And that gives him an immunity. And that gives me an immunity. Gives him an immunity, gives Paul an immunity. And my message to you is, don't go further towards the abyss. Don't continue to look the other way. Don't continue to be an enabler to the mafia, to the sex trafficking of children and women, animal exploitation, testing, and so on. Don't give in, don't facilitate it for one more second. Stop right there, end it. Bring the people to justice who have hurt the animals. Do whatever it takes. And if these people are about to do further harm to those animals, you must step in. You have to intercept right then and there. You have to do it. This is your karmic duty. Okay? So, peace and love.